invited to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity. The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
Presidential
we break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
News. A 24-hour news station.
Hello, good morning, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us on Cool Digest this beautiful Monday morning. Amazingly, November is 10 days old as we count down to the end of the year and looking forward to all the euphoria that comes with a brand new year. Now, you recall that 2014 came in just like yesterday, and then now we're counting days out of this year. Hope you're still not sitting out there procrastinating. I am Nifemi Oguntoye, and I'm excited to have you join us on Cold Digest Monday, where we'll bring you in-depth review and analysis of stories as they emerge within and outside Nigeria. I'm going to start with a very sad story this morning, just breaking from the Forbes magazine. Now, if you are a lover of the bestseller books and all the inspirational books, you must be acquainted with the name Dr. Miles Monroe. And just breaking from the Forbes this morning is the prolific best-selling author and internationally renowned preacher and business coach, Dr. Miles Monroe of the Bahamas Faith Ministry International, alongside his wife, Mrs. Ruth Ann Monroe, together died in a plane crash earlier today in the Bahamas. Now, according to the Associated Press, the plane, a Lear 36 executive jet, reportedly struck a crane at the Grand Bahamas shipyard, exploding on impact and crashing into the ground near a junkyard area. The Bahamas Ministry of Transport and Aviation reported that the Lear 36 executive jet departed the Linden Pidlin International Airport in Nassau, Bahamas at 4:07 p.m. Bahamas time for the Grand Bahamas International Airport, a privately owned international airport in Freeport, Bahamas, with 9 people on board. Now, the plane crashed while making an approach for landing at the airport, and it's just so amazing how all of this happened. And we had Dr. Dr. Miles Monroe, I beg your pardon, alongside his wife and his daughter on board. Now, the crash killed all 9 people on board the private jet, but the identities of the other people on board have not yet been confirmed. And as time goes on, we'll all, of course, keep you up to date with details of that story. Monroe was the senior pastor of the Bahamas Faith Ministry International Fellowship, where his wife, Ruth Ann, served as a co-senior pastor as well. Now, they leave behind 2 children, Dr. Carissa and Tyro Miles Jr. Dr. Monroe died living out his purpose, and in case you've read his books, indeed, it's a touching story this morning. Let me quickly keep you up to date with stories that made headlines over the weekend. And the interesting way to start would be an update on the Tambuwal story that we've been following for a while now. It's no longer news that Tambuwal, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, defected from the People's Democratic Party to the APC on the floor of the House, and he did it in such a dramatic way, coming out to announce his membership of the APC and, of course, asking the House to go on recess to reconvene on the 3rd day of December. That indeed raised quite a number of dust in the polity. As a matter of fact, his security details were removed by the Inspector General of Police, who actually said that he was acting based on the section of that constitution, section 68, subsection 1G, that declares a seat vacant. But despite the controversy on the interpretation of Friday's court ruling, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, says he remains the Speaker. Now, he was speaking in Kaduna on the sidelines of the All Progressives Congress Northwest Stakeholders meeting, adding that his fate is in the hands of God. Now, the Speaker is convinced that a majority of members of the House are behind him, and he also advised Nigerians to ignore what he termed wrong information. On the court's position, Tambuwal insists that his counsel, Lateef Fagbemi, was right in saying that status quo referred to period before his security details were withdrawn. So he added that any attempt to alter it amounts to contempt of court. Now, you recall that they went to court, and what the court actually said was that the status quo should remain. Now, there's another grammar to be interpreted here. Now, what exactly is the status quo? Should it be before his security details were removed, or afterwards? What would be the right definition of status quo in all of this? And then let's move away quickly from there to Nasarawa over the weekend, where another sad news crept up. This time around, it's the police in that particular state saying on Saturday that some gunmen have assassinated the head driver of Governor Umaru Almakura, and he goes by the name Abdullahi Meruwa. Now, one begin to wonder if indeed this is another season of political assassination. The police public relations officer in the state, Ismaila Numam, confirmed the incident in Lafia. He said the victim was traveling with his wife from Lafia to Kina local government area. That was on Saturday morning when they were attacked by some gunmen at Tundu Adabu village in Obi local government area of Nasarawa state. Now, Numan said detectives had been deployed to investigate the killing, but Core TV News learned that the gunmen had told the victim's wife not to panic as they were sent to her husband alone, whom they shot twice in the chest. Now, the remains of Meruwa were taken to Kenya and buried according to Islamic rites. So sad that in this age and time we still have people who indeed have the guts to shoot at someone intentionally to kill. I mean, one begins to wonder what all of these should mean and why all of this should be happening at this time, and what exactly does the driver of the governor has, I mean, what stake is they holding in all of this. But away from that, let's quickly move to another perhaps exciting news, we will call it. But before now, that was last week, we also brought you the news that the Nigerian army released about 42 persons who have been freed from links to Boko Haram. But this time around, the Nigerian army on Saturday also released another 125 persons arrested for allegedly having links with the Boko Haram. And they were investigated and found to be having no link whatsoever with the fundamentalist group. Now, the 42 persons were earlier released on Thursday to Governor Kashim Shettima, and we also reported to you that the governor gave them about 100,000 naira each, and as a matter of fact, also employing some of them as tailors in the civil service. Handing over the new set of 125 persons to the Borno State governor again, the spokesman of the 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Sonny Usman, said that about 254 persons were intercepted fleeing from the state after an attack on Boko Haram strongholds in September. The good news is that this time around, the date of arrest of these people was mentioned by the Nigerian army, and this arrest was made in view on September 23, and after proper investigation, all of these 125 men were found to have no link whatsoever with Boko Haram. Now we're getting gradually closer to the hot one. You recall that INEC scheduled the third phase of the registration and PVC collection exercise between the 7th and 9th of November 2014. That includes about 12 states, Lagos involved, Ogun, Rivers, Edo, and quite a number of other states. Now, we went out to find what the mood of the people was on the second day of the collection exercise, especially in Lagos. Now, Lagosians are for the second day running expressed disappointment at INEC over the poor handling of the distribution of permanent voter cards in the state. You recall that on Friday on this show, we spoke with the INEC rec, who actually said that this exercise will take place in just 11 local governments of Lagos and rescheduled the 9 other local governments for a later day. And what Wood thought that, well, things would go on well now that we just have 11 states. Also told us on that particular Friday that the exercise will not start at 8 o'clock as scheduled due to logistic delay, but that it will start at 12. But then, that's not exactly what people are saying. They describe the process as cumbersome in some centers where the officials of the electoral body were noticed, and also decried their absence in other centers. Let's find out exactly what they have to say in their own words.
This list pasted on the wall is numbered. The cards should be numbered, should be arranged in that order, so that when people come, instead of this rowdiness you are seeing here, they ask of your number you see on the pasted names. Then they go, just like in the universities, they go straight to where the number is. So people will not be, crowded at the seats like this.
People are crying. People are worried about the future of this country. And you are depressing people. You are discouraging people by giving them this kind of attitude, because they would not even be encouraged to do anything come 2015. And that is the only way we can move the country forward. If we cooperate amongst each other, then we will move the country forward. But if the cooperation does not even come from the top, how would we expect to work with the people?
Majority of people, they've lost their voters card. Eventually, they are waiting for form to fill and attach their passport photograph in order to collect their original voters card. That was the reason why the crowd is much. Had it been the form is available, and a lot of people are requesting for the form to make photocopy. So, but they were saying the form is not available. That was the reason why the crowd is much.
Unfortunately, these people, they are not yet here. They are absent. But yesterday they are here. They brought all the list, all the documents. But today, they said there is mistake on the computer. So that's why they are absent yesterday. So we don't know what to do.
Which way exactly to go with all of these complaints? Earlier when we spoke with Ogumola, who happens to be the resident electoral commissioner of Lagos for INEC, he told us that elections obviously would not, that collection of these materials would not take place in 9 local government areas. But he made mention of 11 local governments, including Agege, Ajeromi, Felodu, Ibeju, Lekki, Ifako, Ijaye, Ikeja, Ikorodu, Kosofe, Lagos Island, Lagos Mainland, Mushi, and Ojo as local government areas where this exercise will take place. He also said that perhaps there are certain people who have misplaced their temporary voter cards, that they'll be able to collect it. All they need to do is go to their local government, approach the local government, collect what they call attestation form, attach their passport photograph to it. And he said, just as if it was that quite easy. I also spoke with a guest on the show that this process looks a little bit cumbersome. But the voters awareness campaigner with me on Friday actually said no. But obviously, you heard all that they had to say. We'll be joined with him subsequently on the show today, hopefully, to find out what his opinion is as regards the conduct of that particular exercise in Lagos. There are also news emerging that Lagos would have to postpone the exercise for another 24 hours. That hopefully would be today, but we'll call him to confirm all of that emerging story. But the reactions from the people in Lagos did not stop there. They actually took it to another level. And this time around, it's coming from a chieftain of Nigeria's leading opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, who has described the shorter performance by INEC concerning the distribution of the permanent voter cards in Lagos as a plot now to rig the 2015 general elections by the PDP. Tinubu spoke against the backdrop of mounting complaints that have greeted the exercise in Lagos. Now let's hear what he has to say.
We consider it as a dry run, a rigging exercise practiced. INEC has colluded with the presidency, the opposing party, to rig this election from the data to the end. What we are driving at is a rigging mechanism that is going to blow right in their face. But we will report this matter to the national body of the party, of which I am a member, and they will be hearing from us. But we will protect the right of Lagosians to vote by all means.
How true exactly are these allegations that perhaps INEC is working with the People's Democratic Party to rig elections in APC-led states? As a matter of fact, Lai Mohammed is also saying that much of these difficulties were experienced in states with the largest number of votes, and especially states presently under the APC-led government. He made mention of places like Lagos, Ogun, Edo, and Rivers State. Of course, there are reactions coming from INEC in that regard, reactions coming from the PDP. But before we go there, a coalition, another observer group named a Coalition of Election Observers, has also expressed concerns at the hitches experienced during the PVC collection exercise in 12 states of the Federation. Now, it's also worried that the INEC has been silent in the face of complaints over the exercise. You recall that Friday last week, we had a particular caller from northern Nigeria who actually said that he is contesting for elective offices, but for elective post rather, but he is also yet to be registered or perhaps to collect his PVC. The Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room said in a statement that several registered voters have either been turned back in many states or found that INEC officials did not show up. It also added that in states like Kano, Ogun, and Plateau states, there were fewer cards than the number of voters who showed up for the voter cards. The group also noted that inadequate information from INEC officials have heightened fears of disenfranchisement and confusion. Now, therefore, it wants the Commission to take urgent steps to rectify the situation. But in a swift reaction to all of that, to what the party chieftain you had Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu earlier, speaking on what he feels is responsible for all of this. INEC is also speaking out loud. It's saying it has denied suggestions from every quarter that some registered persons have been delisted from the voter register. You recall what Lagos State Governor said even before all of this exercise, asking questions that what happened to the reduction in the number of registered voters in Lagos. In 2011, it was 6.1 million, and now INEC is saying it has 4.8 million PVCs to distribute within Lagos. There are also other disparity in figures. Earlier in August this year, INEC also brought out some figure like 5-something million registered voters. All of these, exactly, INEC is saying, insisting that all properly registered voters would get their PVC before the 2015 general election. And the spokesman for INEC this time is Kayode Idowu, in describing what has been experienced in some states as temporary challenges, which the Commission is making efforts to do and redress. Now, on the alleged loss of records of about 1.5 million voters in Lagos, I particularly asked the Lagos INEC rec about this particular question, and he talked about subjecting the database to different level of processes. But Kayode Idowu seems to have a better answer here, where he actually acknowledged that it had 6.1 million registered voters for Lagos in 2011, but he also noted that 82,892 of that figure have since been found to be multiple registrants, and INEC is saying that all of these problems will be solved when the continuous voters registration kickstart are fresh and in full effect in all of these states. It also added that there was loss of data as well as incomplete data affecting about 1 million records, mostly in about 1,792 polling units that were identified and have since been made public before the present exercise. Much ado without INEC as regards the PVC collection, and we are hopeful that everything will be done the way it should be, in such a way that Nigerians would not be disenfranchised. But he also says that all of this will be rectified through the continuous voter registration exercise that will kickstart on November 12 to 17 of this year. Now, this is where I take a short break, and when I come back, we'll find out what the top stories are on some of Nigerian dailies. Stick around. You're watching Cool Digest Monday.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.